Well, welcome. Today we're going to talk about people. People we see, people we know. So let's look at it from this standpoint. Is there a person that every time you see them, every time you think about them, you're glad, you're happy to see them? Do you have a person like that in your life? What about, is there a person that you know that every time you see them or think about them, you clench because it's not a happy experience? Is it possible that your reaction is simply a thought process within your head that causes you to look at that person in a certain way? It's fascinating how our perceptions determine what we think about people. More importantly, not just what we think about people, what we feel when we think about people. I'll give you a great example of that. We're going to go back now to, oh my God, it's 38. Let's go back 38. Let's go back 34, 33 years. So my kids are like 4 and 2, 5 and 3, thereabouts. And we've moved to Dallas, Texas, where I'm working. My wife is working as well. She's got a job very close to home because she's going to go pick up the kids and take care of that. And I've got a job where I've got to drive an hour each way. And I'm working long hours, brand new job, very high profile, a lot of responsibility. And what would end up happening is the second I would walk in the door, she would tell me about what the problems are with the kids, what happened for the kids in daycare, all of this stuff. And so whatever ever happened, I started to identify her with the problems. And so whenever I would look at her, I would go, oh, there's a problem coming at me. And I realized that even way back that many years ago, and I had to form an agreement with her. I said, unless it's life and death, for the first hour that I'm home, don't be talking to me about problems. Because the second you do, I identify you with what you're talking about. She was still a great woman. She was still my life partner. But you see, I had identified with her this. And then I wasn't looking forward to seeing her. Now, when we had that agreement, it took some time to change. It took some time to reprogram how we look at things. Do you realize how reprogramming takes time? There's so many people that don't realize that you can't build a belief overnight. It's impossible to build a belief overnight. A belief means you're adjusting all your thoughts, your words, your feelings, everything about how you feel about a particular thing. You're adjusting it so that you have a different feeling. It doesn't happen overnight, but people think it does. And they get very disappointed. To change, to consciously change, it takes work. But it's good work. It's work that has great benefits. Yeah, great benefits. Because wouldn't you rather be able to look at someone and say, yeah, that person makes me glad. That person brings a smile to my face. In reality, couldn't you have that opinion about everyone? Because everyone's got something good about them. It's just a matter about how you perceive them. What is the lens that you're looking at them through? I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? You may say, well, no, Lee, that person's very abusive. Look at what they did to me. You could also say, that person no longer is in my life. I've made that conscious choice. And then you could also say that that person woke me up to a greater feeling, a greater power of loving myself, because by me eliminating them from my life, I took a step and stood up for me. So now that person, you may not be glad when that person's picture crosses your mind, but you won't be getting puckered up. You won't be clenching because you've neutralized it. You've seen what good can come out of it. Yep, past experience warps our interactions. And realize no one's the same. They may have tendencies that are the same, but no one's the same. It's interesting. I used to get distracted when I was doing these talks when people would come in and that type of thing. And it would bother me that when my dog would come in because, and then I just realized, wait a second, I chose her and she's old. And she walked in right now and she's right here down by my side, this side. And I'm just rubbing her. I'm just saying, hey, it's okay, baby doll. Nothing bothers you. McBride, you're funny. She says, for the past couple of weeks, Lee Wolak has brought many smiles to my face. I've been doing an immersive experience with your teaching. Well, I'm teaching practical spirituality. Nothing I'm teaching is new. I'm teaching it, though, through my perspective. So I don't claim to know anything different than other great sages have ever learned. I just know that these are the things that I've studied, and they seem to work for me because I get the experience of it. And does it mean I'm enlightened? No. Does it mean I'm there? No. Does it mean I'm better than? No. You and I are all equal. My job in doing this podcast is to give you information so that you become empowered. My goal is that you walk away from every time you talk with me or listen to me, that you come away feeling better about yourself. You get to ask more questions that are serving you and your advancement, and you become more self-powered so that you can better self-love. That's my goal through all of this. Because I realize we're going through a time in life where there's more contrast than ever. And if we can give each other support by talking about tools that serve us, wow, now we've got a community that can move forward and become more aware, and we can influence more and more people, empower more and more people so that people can come out of this idea of being victims. We're not victims unless we choose to be, because we're always at choice to take on a new a viewpoint, take on a new perspective. We're always at choice. Don't ever tell me that you're not at choice. You're always at choice. You may not like the choices, but you've got choices. I know I dealt years back, I dealt with a woman who was in a very abusive relationship. She says, I can't leave. I said, why can't you leave? He's abusing you physically and mentally. Well, I can't leave because I've got nowhere to go. I said, here's a shelter. Go there. Do you think she left? There was something there that she was being fed with, so she couldn't leave. But she had the ability to choose. We all have the ability to choose to stay where we are or to move into a new arena. Now, which arena we choose to move in, guess what? That's our choice. We get to choose into the move into the arena of victim. We get to choose into the movement of the arena of self-empowered. We get to choose into the arena of a combination of all that. We can choose to do nothing at all, because by doing nothing at all, It's a conscious choice. When you do nothing, you're saying, let's let everything stay as it is, because that's what doing nothing does. Doing nothing is a conscious choice. Keep everything as it is. I don't want it to change. And then you're going to get bored and you get frustrated and you're going to procrastinate. And it's not going to feel good because you were meant to grow. You were meant to change. You were meant to expand. I hope you're glad to hear me every morning, because I do ask some tough questions, and I know I'm causing people to pucker, but that's what I chose to be. I chose to be the person who asked the questions, because by asking you questions, I have to answer the same ones. So if you think I'm doing this all for you, you're wrong. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and something you may not want to hear, but we only do things for ourselves. We only do things for ourselves. So why am I doing this? I get to speak. I love to speak. I love to teach. I love to examine my life. I love to connect with others. I am doing this because it benefits me. Yes, Dana. This is not, you're going to shadow someone today on this other job. It's not with your career goals, but right now it's your job. And you've got to focus on the fact that while I'm here, I get to connect with people. I'm making money, which allows me to meet my needs, and I can grow in this situation. So perceive the job as something that at this time you're choosing to do while you become the person who moves into that next career, which is what you want to do. That is your career goal. But here's the key thing. If you're not being fully present where you are in your career and giving your best effort, that's the energy you'll take into your new career. You're not lost. You're not lost at all. All you've got to do is turn the dial on how you perceive things. It's not easy. I'm not trying to say it's easy. But that's what it's got to happen. You got to turn that dial and say, hey, this job is here. It's giving me an income. It's giving me a place to go. It's allowing me to get ready for my next job. I'm going to shadow. I'm going to learn. I'm going to connect with a person. I become more well-rounded, because you never know what you're going to learn today is going to benefit you tomorrow. When I was in the corporate world, I learned a lot of stuff. I didn't like it, but it's benefiting me today. I didn't realize it then. Get the most out of every day. Be excited about what you're going to learn today. What are you going to contribute today? That is your choice, and it's your ability and how you perceive it. Thank you for being so brave and putting that out there. I really appreciate that, because you gave me something to build off of. I love to build off things like that and talk. Now, I'm not telling you, Dana, I'm right. Everyone out there, I want you to know, I don't know that I'm right or wrong. I'm giving you perspective. You get to choose what's right or wrong for you. Why? Because in your life, you are all that matters. So you make the choice that's best for you. What's going to make you feel good? What's going to make you feel more connected? So that's my talk for the day. I want to thank you for being here. And I want you to know that if you have issues, like Dana just brought up a really wonderful issue, if you've got things that are challenging to you, things that are really, really an obstacle in your life, send me a note. Rev.Lee, WOLAK @gmail.com. Give me the topic. I would love to talk about that. I want to know what's going on in your life. What are you challenged with? I want to make these talks about you and how you can benefit. So if you would like to do that, I would appreciate it. rev.leewolak@gmail.com. So it's Reverend, R-E-V, dot, and then Lee Wolak, my name, at gmail.com. Or bring them up during the conversation tomorrow, because I'll talk to you then. Until then, I've really gotten long-winded. Thank you for giving me that gift today. I want you to know, no matter what happens to you, where you are in life, I accept you where you are, which means I love you. Have a great note. Aloha. Much love.